everybody, and welcome to Youth Group Live. We're so excited to see you tonight and hang out with you for a little while and see what's going on in your life. So if whatever social media you're on, please comment on it, whether it's YouTube or Facebook. We're checking those periodically and going to try to keep up with them. That's one reason I like to do live, is because we get the comments and we get to hear from you guys. So hey Yaya, and hey Emily Booth, who's sitting right next to me, who was just commenting, hey, just got distracted. I saw somebody comment, and then thank you, Yaya, for participating with us tonight.
I have help. Misty had to get her computer because going back and forth last week was a little much.
I feel kind of special right now, though. I'm like part of the group.
Okay, you are special.
So leave your comments, and so we can see how everybody's doing and what's going on in your life. So how's y'all's week been?
It's stressful.
The
Mine's
same.
been stressful.
Yeah, yours has been.
I've been a little bogged down with a paper and having to write a paper, and I'm really not happy that I'm having to write this paper. So, yes, throwing shade.
So social distancing, teaching, still going?
This week for me was just kind of, I was in a slump. I didn't really want to do anything. I worked because I've got to, because I've got to teach from behind the computer. My kids weren't really super engaged this week. Nobody checked in.
No.
Good news is they're all passing. So, I mean,
Passing is good. I'm
passing
going
is
with
good.
passing.
Yes. So, it's been blah. It's been my week.
Oh, yeah. I kind of feel that way.
So those of you at home, how is distance education going for you? Are you keeping up with your classes, getting the extra credit, all that fun stuff, or are you just kind of laying low and trying to hide from your teachers?
I will say some of this extra credit stuff is doing a world of good for some people.
Oh, most definitely.
I'm very excited about this and just the opportunity of people getting to better their grades and, to just like Maddie and my daughter and Yaya, a few of them were saying that they have the chance of going above 100. So, I mean, this is great stuff for their GPA. And
I wish I'd have had that opportunity. But then again, I probably wouldn't have taken it as a kid.
I tried to talk Maddie out of it, actually. I'm like, baby, you're going to get up there to that 100. What's the point of going any higher? Of course, she is definitely type A personality, so she's doing all of it straight. So
we had a conversation about the type personalities earlier. It's like, Misty, am I type A? And she goes, no.
I think you might be type A more than any of us up here.
I'm type C. See what's going to happen and decide if I'm going to do it later. But
Yaya says that she's done it all and she hates it, and her lowest grade is 106.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
106.
Oh, we did talk about you being definitely a type A personality earlier, because
and that being a good thing, like driven, and I just have to find motivation, and it's a struggle sometimes to find that motivation.
So we started a new thing last week. We finished up our slowing devotion, and we've kind of moved into to the Bible app. It's a really cool app. I've had a good time this week keeping up with it, and hopefully more of you can join as we will release here later on what we're doing next, the next little Bible study that we're doing, the devotion. Hope all of you can join us with that. But so what did y'all think of it this week? How did the app work? How did it go?
Found it easier to use than having to go back to that PDF, and it sends you reminders, which I need.
And lots of communication too.
Yeah.
The emails back and forth. I might have to check some of those off though, because I kept getting like 5-10 emails a day talking about, hey, someone said this and someone said this. But I did like the sense of community where you got to kind of, hey, someone said this, and that's a really good point. And so that had a really good.
So go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say.
So what we're talking about is, if you missed last week, we've started using the Bible app. It's through Life Church, and we walked through a Bible study, a devotion this week called Putting an X Through Anxiety, Putting an X Through Anxiety. It was by Louis Giglio. And I found this short clip online, and I was just going to show it. This is him talking about that. If I can get it pulled up, give me 1 second.
Anxiety is fear in the enemy. That's the way my friend Levi Lesko says it. A different way of saying it is anxiety is the byproduct of me wanting to control the entire world. That's what anxiety is. And people who are A-types and perfectionists get it really bad because they want to control the outcome of their kids, of their family, of their business, of everything happening in the world. Anxiety is when I think it all rests on me. That's at the heart of anxiety. And that's a giant for a lot of people. And so you would think, well, Goliath must fall because anxiety has got to go away. That's not the only reason why anxiety must fall. Anxiety must fall because if I'm living under the weight of anxiety, I am stealing God's glory from Him. Because I'm saying with my mouth, He's the Alpha and the Omega. I'm saying with my words, He can do anything and He's got all power. But yet I'm staring at the ceiling for the 100th night in a row at 4 o'clock, living under the weight of trying to manage the affairs of my own life when I have a shepherd, the scripture says, who leads me through the valley of the shadow of death. And so God gets glory when the giants in our lives come down and we get freedom. And that's why Goliath must fall.
Yeah, that was a great video, kind of just breaking down what anxiety does. I never really thought about it saying that, hey, I control my life instead of Jesus controlling it all, and almost putting that faith into Him that He was going to do it. I always want to try to fix it myself. I'm a fixer. I wanted to get it done and get it taken care of. And so walking through this devotion this week, I found myself going, yep, that's me, sitting there getting worked up and getting stressed out over things that I can't control, things that happen and things in my life that I want to be able to fix, and it's an unfixable thing. And so that what kind of stuck out to me through the devotion this week.
Yeah, I will say on that video, he kept saying Goliath has fallen, or Goliath must fall, or I don't remember the exact words, but that's his new book.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
So that might be an interesting read too, to kind of go into more depth, especially for people who are really struggling with this. But I just love the imagery that this fear, this anxiety that we have is this huge giant across the way and just looming over us all the time. And it must fall. You know, we've got to get rid of it somehow, some way. And that goes back into the daily devotion. You're talking about day one, started off talking the looming giant in the valley. It said, set your gaze. Was day one, and just realizing that there is this huge thing that is just bearing down on you.
It doesn't belittle it. It doesn't say you can be the best that you can be and it's gonna go away. It didn't say that you could. I thought it was a really good perspective it's a very healthy conversation towards anxiety. It doesn't diminish the fact that some people have it situationally, some people have it predispositioned. It kind of working through different, I would say, steps almost to like, hey, check yourself. Hey, check these things and make sure that, you've got these things lined up, because if these are lined up, then it becomes a whole lot more manageable.
Mm-hmm. I like the fact that it didn't just brush it off as, you can do this with some pat answer and it'd just be done.
Like pray it away.
Yeah, or the fact that it says you can't put a Band-Aid over it and
Right.
be immediate fix. So
And there's some things that you're just going to have to live with and be okay with them not being perfect. So you have to gaze past that and say, okay, God, you've got me in this situation for a reason. Help me walk through it, and I've got to depend on you for this, and I can't depend on my own strength for it. Right. Hey, Audrey Best, glad you can join us. I see you.
I know, I saw her.
By the way, going back to that comment,
Segue.
How are you feeling after the garden?
Oh, the garden's great now, 3, 4, 5 days later. The next day I was kind of hurting a little bit, but hey, I'm good now.
Walking like an old man, definitely.
Yes. It's a little more work than I remember it being as a kid. So day 2 was what on that?
Say hello to my giant slayer. Talking about being in the hills and valleys. And one of the takeaway verses here was Psalms 23. This said, at the core of this Psalms is an extraordinary offer from God that he will lead and guide us through every season. I come back to the Psalms quite often, talking about leading us through the, you were singing it earlier.
Hills and valleys.
Yep. But that reminded me of that Tornwell song, Hills and Valleys. Sorry, ADD, rabbit moment. Lost my train of thought. But sometimes they can be really big things, or they seem really big. And then it's kind of going back to that day one, readjusting where you're looking at it from, where you looking at it from the perspective of you're down here and it's up here, or are you eye level with it?
Okay. And then on day 3, it says you're not crazy, and it's relating to another person. We'll be able to see that his crazy was not really crazy. His thought is something that is deposited into our heads by the enemy. And
Yeah.
that one's big because we know the enemy's crawling around and just trying to take away all of our joy and
To
peace.
nitpick.
Yeah.
To nitpick, to cause us to see things in a different light than what maybe they actually are.
Right.
And a lot of times we end up saying, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this? And it's so this big ordeal, and really it's not that way. It's just been twisted in a way that makes us get anxious, or think somebody's mad at us, or think somebody's looking at us in a different light, or we see
Yeah.
something that we might think and perceive it being, and it's really not that way at all.
And for me, there are times I have to pick up the phone and call Misty. I'm like, okay, I need a head check.
That's
Am I-
exactly what I was thinking about.
I need a head check, and that's what we call it, because I'm like, okay, in this moment, I'm feeling crazy, and this is what's related to it. It could be something with work or something with home or anything, and where I was starting to think of it in a healthy light and kind of go this way and leaning on things, it's like all of a sudden my mind goes, and I'm drugged the other way. And
That's the devil coming in, is
Right.
pulling you in the deep.
And I have to call somebody and make sure and check it to make sure that, you know, it doesn't overtake me. I really thrive. If we've learned anything, I have thrive in community. I can't do life alone. It's not good for my anxiety to do life alone.
Oh, we got you.
Yeah.
Day 4 talks about resizing your giant. So this one is saying your giant may be big, but your giant is not bigger than Jesus.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes back to something I heard on the radio that really resonated with me for a long time, was that your problems, like it says, might be big, or you won't have big problems if you have a bigger God.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I keep trying to think of things, is my God is always bigger than this. So the questions today was, which voice will you listen to? The voice of the devil, which is the lie that's trying to feed you all that stuff that you were just talking about, or is it the voice of the one who speaks truth? Or is it really, which one are you going to do?
Yeah.
Which one are you feeding? Which one are you listening to? Which one are you paying attention to?
That's going to get us into our next one too. That's a good segue. Yeah. And then day 5, digging to the bottom of your fear.
So one of the takeaway verses here was 1 Peter 5:7, and casting all of your anxieties onto Jesus because he cares for you so much. And I love this picture, taking my anxiety and throwing it, offloading it onto him, because it can get really, really heavy to carry. And like I said, I know after years and years of trying to sort it out myself, saying, hey, I can do this, I can fix this, I can fix me. No, I couldn't fix me. I spent way too many years trying to fix me, and it led to just big, just bad. It just, and led me into a place where I could sort it out in counseling. And then I realized that the component that I was still missing was that third piece, that extra piece, the relationship, the casting it off onto Jesus, because he's meant to bear that. I'm not meant to bear that. So why am I holding on to it? And something just dropped and fell.
Sorry.
But And going that far in and realizing that, your biggest fear is sometimes letting it go and letting go of that control of it is,
That's something type A personalities like Louis Giglio deal with, and just like you say, let it go.
Yeah.
I keep coming back on this one to the song "Fear He Is a Liar." I mean, that song, just singing that over and over again, just kind of repetitively, sometimes helps me. Just that's not truth.
yeah.
That's just me getting overwhelmed with everything, and I've got to let it go. And so, and then I like this next one. Day 6 said, God's got your back. And
The support.
yeah, it's the support of it. You are not going through this alone. You don't have to pick up all the weight. You don't have to keep trucking on with no support, with no help.
I think what got me with this day was the old magnet that's on your grandmother's refrigerator, the footprints in the sand. I hadn't thought about it in years until I read Day 6, and it was like, okay, yeah, there was only one set of footprints, but Jesus was carrying you the whole way. And I think we miss that sometimes. We think that, okay, God, you're so far away, where are you? But really, he's right there carrying us through this whole thing. That thing would have been a lot worse if he wouldn't have been there carrying us through it.
And I think Brother Ron said it this morning. It's like we live in a society where we want to fix it. Like we've, I wasn't going to trust anybody to fix my problems because I've got to fix my problems. Why am I going to take my problems and put them off on somebody else, knowing that they've got their own problems, and noticing that, hey, that right there is the lie. It's not that they're going to fix my problems. They're going to help walk me through it and walk to a different way that is going to.
Yeah. Heard JP. Yeah.
I get so easily distracted. But walk me back to a better, healthier understanding of seeing that is a lie and realizing the truth. Again, Psalms 23 came up in that. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
I take a look at my
That's
life
what I was
and
trying to
realize
get you to
there's nothing
say
left.
earlier. But I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they will comfort me.
Okay, taking that a bit further. One of the things I was reading this one I was preparing for our Sunday school lesson earlier was a description of a staff, a shepherd's staff. And it was talking about how it came from the lower part of the military or something. But the fact that not only was it a guide, but it was also a tool for protection and just everything that a staff was actually used for from the shepherd. And to think your rod and your staff, they comfort me because they have you protected.
Yes.
I mean, that's really the imagery that I keep going to for that is that right there is your protection. If something comes at you, they're not going to get too close because it's going to beat you up.
Right.
And so that's kind of just what I keep thinking about when I hear that your rod and staff, they comfort me.
Yeah.
So, and then day 7, let go and breathe.
It's funny, when I read that today, I couldn't help but think of the exercises that the county sent out for the students about the breathing exercises during this anxiety part of.
But my Apple Watch tells me to breathe quite a lot. So I don't know if that means I'm a particularly anxious human being and that,
Or sometimes you forget to breathe.
there's that too.
But when you reading the devotion today, when you get anxious, sometimes you forget to breathe, and that cuts oxygen, which raises your stress level, which makes you harder to deal with or more
rate
anxious.
goes
Is
up.
that flight or fight?
Flight or
fight.
Yeah, the adrenaline.
And so it says to breathe in and take long, deep breaths, and just some practical ways to deal with being anxious and things that we forget about a lot of times when we're anxious. So.
And I liked how it talks about just the being anxious. Again, just going back to, it doesn't put something over it saying, hey, this is a fix-all. It's kind of walking you through the different steps of how to unload it and how to unpack it.
Handle it in that moment too when
Yeah.
it becomes overwhelming. But not only let go and breathe, and it talks about breathe in and out, but the way it related back. And this is the beauty of it. It says, it is God who gave us our first breath, and it is God who gives every breath. And And so that in Acts 17:25 is just, he gave us bread, and he continues to give us that bread.
Yeah.
And if that, our all-powerful God is doing that, breathe him in and let him handle it. And, it's just that surrender. The imagery of just him breathing into us.
That's some good stuff. I think a lot of people enjoyed the devotion this week.
Yeah.
We had several good comments. If you didn't get to join us, hey, come and join us with this next one. I'm about to throw it up on the screen here. It's called Facing the Unknown. Facing the Unknown. So on Boost,
Link tree.
link bush,
It's
link
a
tree,
link. It's
whatever it
a
is. If you click on it, it'll take you to this to the Bible app. If you don't have it, you can download it. But hey, we're asking everybody, whether you're 10 or 87, to join us with this. It's and just click on the link and sign up and just walk through this with. It's only 5 days this week,
Yeah.
5 sessions, so you get to Monday through Friday, or if you need to miss one day or you forget, hey, come and back up with us.
But it is important that you get started on Monday.
Yes.
Because if you do not start with the plan on Monday, you can't join in, and you'll end up missing the community, the commentary that you can add back and forth. So
right now on your phones, go to our social media page and click on the link and sign up for it. Do it now. It's already open, but we're not starting until tomorrow, so you'll have till tomorrow to do it. So just click on, like I said, the link on our thing, and it will link on the tree.
Well, okay, guys,
And-
the link is in the Instagram bio, and it is the first pinned post that you'll see on our Facebook page if you scroll past the new update and where it has all of our information. It should be the only website link that is on our Facebook page. I try to keep that as up to date as possible for you guys. And it'll take you directly there, and if you've got it'll prompt you to download the app, anything like that. So even if you don't have social media, just like Jeff said, go to the Bible app, shoot us a message, let us know that you're there, and we can try to link you in with the group.
Gotcha. Now, I will say this, and kind of just taking this a little bit longer, God is working in some amazing ways. We started this with last week asking my 7th and 8th grade girls, to throw a question out there that you might be dealing with. And the question came up about anxiety, which you'd already planned to do this devotion. And today we were talking about facing our fears and how Moses had to face a lot of his fears. And now we talked about, what we're facing right now in this time, and how do we deal with how we're unsure of what's going on. And you just happen to have this next facing the unknown. I mean, it's just God's working.
Yeah.
So, Booth, you have a bingo game or something for us this day?
I have dropped it on the Instagram and Facebook stories right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to save that bingo board. Some of the boxes you're going to be able to go back and check off right now. You'll have just a few that say YGL. I'll let you read it. I'm not going to read them out for you. You do have a free space, but this is going to run all week. It's kind of just our running challenge almost. And if you black out the entire board, send it to us, message it to us, and we'll figure out a way to incorporate it somehow. Jeff, maybe with a prize. I don't know. I'm putting him on the spot here.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see what we got.
something.
Maybe
or-
a T-shirt.
Yeah, shout out, on our next week's youth group live. But I was listening to a podcast, and she had a weekly bingo board going, and I'd come back and check it and check off like what they had covered and what they hadn't covered. And I was like, okay, this is a really creative way to kind of keep me engaged. And the prize is I got an email back from her. That was it. And that's what kept me engaged. I was like, I got to figure out a way to do this for our kids.
So we've got that going on. Also on the link tree, you have, hey, I got it right that time. On the link tree is a prayer request board.
Yeah.
Hey, we all need each other to pray, and we all need some accountability. So if you're struggling with something, or something that you need to be prayed for, just, hey, go put it on that, it's a living document, it's on Google Docs, so we check it often to make sure that we know of everything that's on there, so don't feel like,
And you're not gonna log into it and see somebody else's, so if you're coming in and you're submitting it and you're struggling with something throughout this season, it's not like, don't be scared to not put it in, because I'm not gonna come to this page and see what Misty's put in for her prayer request needs. That's just for us, so that we know how to reach you and contact you, and how to better guide you through this. So I wanted to throw that out there.
all right, and another announcement, so every Wednesday, we've been getting together on Zoom, also on the Linktree. This week, we've got a mystery guest. I was gonna hold it quiet and not tell anybody who it was, but my wife's making me tell. Big Al's going to join us on Zoom, and so you don't want to miss that. He'll be with us at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. The link will be in the Linktree.
Yep.
Come hang out with Big Al. He's going to be walking us through Mark. The verses we were going to cover, just reached out to him, and he was free to, Wednesday night. So he's going to come in and join us and put his spin on it. So you really, really, really don't want to miss this Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Big Al. We'll send out some reminders and things to remind you guys. So do not miss this Wednesday night.
I love me some Big Al. He knows his Bible. I mean, he can just spout out and take it in ways that you hadn't thought about it before, and I just love listening to him.
I heard you talk about him for, going on 2 years now. And when at T15, when I had the chance to sit back here and listen, and when we were at Lakeshore, I was sitting in the back at Lakeshore that last night, and I'm like, okay, all right, Big Al, okay. All right. But we know I cry all the
Bringing
time.
it home.
But man, can he, and I'm excited.
So bring a
so
friend,
pumped.
even if you haven't made it for Wednesday night yet, hey, you don't want to miss this week. Tell your friends about it, click on it. If you have any questions, just text me or text one of us, and we'll make sure that we get you into the meeting with us. We're excited. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Zoom meeting with Big Al. Also, we have family game night this Thursday night. Working on a new game. I don't know if it's quite going to work out or not, but we're going to work on it. We're not going to play Kahoot. It's not trivia, so don't be scared off by that. It's going to be another fun game. Well, it might be a little.
I have a bone to pick about last week, okay? I was actually doing really well, and then I don't know what happened. If y'all kicked me off, I think y'all might have kicked me off, because I was getting close up there. I was making it into the top 5, and then Kahoot crashed, and then it kept saying that Boothie is ahead of you, and I'm like, no, I'm Boothie. No, I'm getting these points. These points are not. Yeah, I'm a little bit mad with trivia. I'm glad
Well, we're doing something new for that. Also, back to the Wednesday night Zoom meeting. Hey, if any age, if you don't have to be a teenager to join, I'm sure I'll get that text later on, because so many people love Big Al. And so
Yeah.
if you're an adult and want to come on, just come and join us. We'd love for you to be there. But Thursday night game night, we've had some great times. We had, I think, how many families this week? Was it 16 families
Yeah.
playing, just having a good time together, about 30, 45 minutes, not all night. We just get together about once a week at 7 o'clock on Thursday nights and play a game together and just have fun. Hey, and the winning family gets pizza that Friday night. So moms, you don't have to fix dinner that night. So come and join us for that. And then next Sunday night, we'll be right back here, Youth Group Live, at 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. And so, do we have anything else? Am I missing anything?
Don't forget Sunday morning live stream.
Sunday morning live stream.
Wait, we got a comment. Miss Melissa McCarty said, I love Big Al.
Don't we all?
Hey, Miss Melissa, I've missed you.
So, I see her a lot. But
Well,
anyway.
I don't. I'm not at the church.
but-
I'm teaching behind a computer.
So,
That's
next
it.
Sunday night, next Sunday morning, live stream. Next Sunday night, we'll be right back here. If you need us, you know where we are. We're just a text or a phone call or a Zoom away. And so we love you, and we can't wait till we're doing this back live with you here to see each and every one of you. Hey, tell your friends about us next week. Tell them to come on Youth Group Live, and y'all do better at comments. Y'all were kind of quiet tonight. So
Y'all do better.
we'd love to hear from you for that, and we love you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.